Oh, yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Came up from the struggle, now we stacking chips. Black Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich. Doni Glover Show, watch us shift the switch. Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. Talking black excellence, ain't no exclusivity. History is making, reclaiming our divinity. Break by break, rebuilding our community. Doni Glover Show, celebrate unity. Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. From the boardroom to the streets, we making waves. Business minds running, new paths paved. Politicians listen, they know we the brave. Black Wall Street dreams rising from the grave. Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the
we have some stars in the building.
Doni Glover Show by BMORenews.com. Oh yo, oh yo, oh yo, yo, yo.
We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Special thank you to our executive producer of Be More News in Niagara, Mr. Emmanuel Price. We're up here on, this is the New York side, and that's the Canadian side, and we will be there for the New Year's dropping of the ball or somewhere around here. Very beautiful Niagara Falls, some of the best water in the world. So make sure you get out, get your passport, and do some traveling. And keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Welcome to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Here on Atlantic, Mississippi, with our very dear friend Corey Mathis. A beautiful town, New Orleans. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com. We're going to give you an update. 10 years since Katrina. The news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. I hope that you're well. We've had some really wonderful discussions over the past week since Wednesday. We've covered indigenous. We've covered what it means to many of us of the darker hue here in the Americas. We've covered the history. We've raised the question, are we, the people of the darker hue, the melanated people, are we Moors? Are we Hebrew? Are we indigenous? Are we all three? We've had some heated discussions. One thing I want to make absolutely clear is that if it's going to be anything on this show, it's going to be respect for all people. Give respect, get respect. I'm going to give you respect, you give me respect. One of the things that we covered that I'd like to go a little bit more into is what I think is our connection to Africa, Al-Kebulon, Kush, the motherland, Ethiopia. It's gone by many names. More of the Afrocentric people, you know, like Ethiopia, like Al-Kebulon, Kush. But anyway, to discuss some of these things and more, I'm going to bring up dear friend Mr. Scott. You there?
Yes, I am.
How you doing? I know you're driving.
Doing pretty good. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. So tell us about yourself. Who are you? For those who don't know, should I introduce you?
Go ahead. I'm in a car, but you and I are good friends. We know each other from high school and college days. Um, I'm a history buff myself, though I majored in business and worked in IT and telecom all my career. But I'm a history buff, as much as anybody could be. I do my research just like everyone else does. And I base things on historical facts. I don't go along with religious dogma or dogma from somebody's um, mystical stories. It's got to make sense. It's got to add up. And that's just me.
Mhm.
I got to have scientific empirical proof. Plain and simple. And if I share information with you, it's going to be that way. It won't be I heard it was, or I heard this, or I heard that.
Let me take a moment and thank Dr. Tyrone Tabor on STEMCityUSA.com for this platform. This show is also available in the metaverse. Dr. Tabor runs Career Communications Group. They run the Be Everything You Are conference every February at the Convention Center here in Baltimore. We're always looking forward to the BEYA, BEYA.org, BEYA.org. Do check them out. So, Rob, one of the things we might as well, you talked about Poly, you talked about Morehouse. Any thoughts on, before we get into the history, any thoughts on Morehouse and what it meant to you and your life?
Wow, that's deep to ask me that. Probably it set me on the path um, that I'm on today. It introduced me to my African self. It expanded my knowledge of God. It also expanded my knowledge of who we are as a people. Of course, the I got introduced to Dr. Ben through Morehouse. I sat and listened to Dr. Ben for the first time. I consider him my mentor, just like so many others consider Dr. Ben their mentors. And everything that I base my Africanicity on has a lot to do with what I learned from Dr. Ben. Plus, my father went on the 13-day trip to Egypt with Dr. Ben. So, I've trusted my father.
And I think it's only fair you tell him who your dad is.
My father was one of a group of civil rights leaders in the state of Maryland um, that that did away with I'm going to say the facilities. They desegregated the facilities and the services in the state of Maryland. That's exactly what they did. And that was huge. That kind of thing went on all over the country. I even found the same people that did the same types of things here in Georgia, also in other states. But that's what
So
my father did. He was with a group of civil rights leaders that desegregated the services and facilities in our particular state.
he was with the Goon Squad.
The Goon Squad, that was what
As a
they
matter
were
of fact,
called.
your dad was the youngest member.
Yes, he still is the youngest
Is
member.
the youngest
He's
member.
still alive. It's actually the only one still alive, to be honest.
Or Lala is still alive.
No, Mr. Gadia passed away about a year and a half ago.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was at his funeral, went to his funeral.
Ashe. I think you're being polite. They were gangsters, man. The Goon Squad, to my understanding, let somebody know you're running and you're not running.
Right. They were just as important as the deacons of defense, who our guy, Mukasa, trained. Just as important as the Black Panthers, Black Panther Party, who our boy, Mukasa, trained.
Mukasa, you got to unmute yourself. You got to, unclick that microphone.
There go Mukasa right there. I'm sitting there talking about you, Mukasa.
Oh, yeah. I hope you said something good.
It was good. I was saying, he was asking me about my father, and I was telling him that my father was with a group of civil rights leaders in the state of Maryland who desegregated the services and facilities in the state of Maryland. And I said, just like the Deacons of Defense, who our boy Mukasa trained. And I said, just like the Black Panther Party, who our boy Mukasa trained. Before I got to SNCC, your face showed up on the screen.
How does that make you feel, Robbie?
Oh, wonderful. So that's the surprise you gave me.
Thank you, African.
Surprise, man.
How you doing, African?
I'm doing great.
Why
Yeah,
do
well,
you say?
let's go now. Look, you asked me about Morehouse. Let's go back to Morehouse. Because when I got to Morehouse, the very first or second Thursday, when we went to a chapel, we got out of chapel and there was this man out there. Down with apartheid. From Barry Nashimaringa. Boo-bye, African.
Boo-bye, African. Be strong.
Be strong. Black power. And that's this brother that you see right here. So when you talk about the impact that Morehouse had on me, actually the deepest impact came outside of the classroom, even though Mukasa's come in at least 3 of my classrooms and had the professor wait until he was finished before he started class. Dr. Roswell Jackson is one of them. You know what I'm talking about, Mukasa.
Yes, sir.
He was in my religion class. The first time I saw him come in my class. Religion.
Yes, sir, Dr. Jackson.
Dr. Roswell Jackson. All right, so you got me excited now, Donnie. You done changed my whole mood. And
Why, Mukasa, when young men come to Morehouse, why would you go to the campus and say, "What's up, African"?
I can't hear you for that other traffic there.
Oh, I got you on mute, Robbie. Why would you come into the cafeteria to all of these many freshmen from around the country at Morehouse, and you would stand up on a soapbox and say, "Good morning, Africans"? Why would you do that?
Because, well, you just answered the question. I said, hey, Africans, because I want to teach them they were Africans. At that time, when I called out, matter of fact, when I first walked in the cafeteria and say, excuse me, everybody got quiet. I said, y'all know we Africans? And I got the biggest boos you ever wanted to see. And that's when the fight started. And that we battled from that point on to talk about Africa and to identify with Africa and to put information and history and culture of Africa to the students.
How was it for those who have never heard your story, walking beside Dr. King?
How was it? We were just in battle, and I started fighting, and we had to fight dogs and bombs and jails and billy clubs and bullets and whatever. And we started fighting down in Southwest Georgia, in Albany, Georgia, where SNCC went there and helped create the Albany movement. And when you created the Albany movement, They had mass arrests for people going in the back doors, going in the front doors, and they had mass arrests because black people got on the front of the bus like Rosa Parks, and they closed the bus. They said they would close the bus company down before they allowed black people to ride on the front of the bus. And so we end up filling the jails up and putting hundreds or even thousands of people in jail. And our tactic was to fill the jails. And we filled the jails and met a lot of violence. And then during that time, they called Dr. King to come in, and that the local people, we had some King brothers down there, Slater King, Turner C.B. King. Slater King was the president of the Albany movement, and we had direct action, what we call direct action, going confronting the enemies, going confronting the store owners, going confronting things, saying we wasn't going in the back door and we have certain rights. And at some point in 61, I think, we decided to register people to vote. And when we started trying to register people to vote, went out in the rural area where you didn't have all these kind of restaurants and stuff, and went out in the rural area, and we started trying to register people to vote. And in Terra County, they had a lady there named Carolyn Daniels, and Carolyn Daniels' house was used. She was a very militant young lady, and she was a nurse, and her house was used for the movement. And the sheriff and those would blow the house up, throw dynamite on the porch, blow the house up. And once they machine gunned the house, and when they machine gunned the house, they shot a SNCC worker and what have you. Anytime we take 1 or 2 people, 3 people down to register to vote, we could expect a machine gun or a bomb. And the house we lived in, we stayed in the back part of it because the front part had been blown up and whatever. And then in Lee County, they burnt down 3 churches because we had mass meetings in those churches. One on the Lee County Highway, one in Sassa, Georgia, that was Terra County, and another one. And that they came by one of the leaders, local leaders' house, who supported the movement, and they machine gunned his house and put bullets right in his family's. One of them landed in one of his little girl's pillow. He had 12 children, and he fought, but they were using terrorism, and we fought against that terrorism. And once we put and fill the jails up, and they wanted to bring more attention to it, and Dr. King was somebody that could bring national attention. So once they brought the national, we called Dr. King in, and Dr. King came in and started making speeches and bringing attention to the Albany movement. Even he ended up going to jail and what have you in Albany. So Dr. King was a nice guy, and it was good working with a young freedom fighter, young preacher.
You look really happy in that picture. You look really happy in that famous picture of you, Dr. King, and Stokely Carmichael. Let me pass the ball to Robbie. Robbie, you want to pose a question?
Yes. Can you hear me, Mukasa?
Yes, sir.
We did a show with you with TST. It was a documentary. We still got it up. It's still there. In that documentary, you pointed out something that most Black people didn't know. Black people always felt that when they put the dogs on us and the white guys were out there yelling and cussing at us, that we bowed down and we let all that happen. Now, the way I understood it, yeah, we let it happen because the cameras were on And you said Dr. King was the best when it came to marketing. But when those cameras went off and everything was over, y'all fought them crackers toe to toe.
Oh, watch the
Here's
language.
my language. Y'all fought those folks toe to toe.
Oh yeah,
Am I right?
absolutely.
And I'm sorry I put it that way.
I don't know.
That was how Mukasa put it that way
Oh.
on the show, and we had to straighten it out.
Can't talk right now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mukasa. So, Robbie, what's your question?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Got
it. Yeah. Well, SNCC, we SNCC, we were the youth that sit down and went and had sit-ins and sit in the restaurants where white people sit. It started in Greensboro, North Carolina, where 3 students from A&T, they went and sit down where white people sit in cresses or woodwork or what have you. And they were put in jail, and that started a movement. And when they put them in jail, children all over the South saw that happen, and they began to go do the same thing. So that was a mass movement of children going to sit down and try to get in theaters and where white people go, and said we were not going in the back door anymore. And when we started going in those stops, we had big traffic. Many people went to jail. Some died. Many people went to jail and was beat up and faced dogs and whatever. But during that time, when the people went to jail and all the kids were demonstrating from different colleges and schools and whatever, and they were out there mobilized, and Miss Ella Baker said, y'all need to get organized. And she went to, Ella Baker was a lady that worked with the NAACP and other groups, and she worked in the Montgomery Movement Association with Rosa Parks. And matter of fact, she was in Montgomery with Dr. King and those, and Dr. King knows, she told Dr. King he had an organization, and the organization was made up of Ralph Abernathy, Wyatt T. Walker, and Dr. King. And Ella Baker told him, Martin, that's not an organization, you need a staff. And she came to Atlanta with him and went in there and got an office on Auburn Avenue. And she went in there and organized the office, and they brought in all these preachers. All the SLC folks were preachers. If they weren't preachers, they pretend they were preachers. But it was a preacher organization. And she went in there and organized it. And then as the sit-in movement progressed, she went to Dr. King and said, Dr. King, we need to have a conference with all these students that's out here demonstrating, and you need to fund it. And Dr. King gave her $850. And the $850 was used at Shaw University to bring all the students from across the South together. Because back then you could ride the bus for $1, for $1 for 50 cents round, $1.50 round trip, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, she brought in a lot of students. And when she brought us in, we organized, and she said strong people don't necessarily need strong leaders, and we should consensus leadership, where you talk about it and make decisions, and whatever the majority come to, this is what you do. And that you shouldn't see yourself as leaders, but you see yourselves as organizers. So she organized and put us together, and she said, when we got organized, we chose a name, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And one of the things Ella Baker told us, Dr. King wanted us to be a youth group for him, but one of the things Ella Baker told us, you don't want to be under them preachers. Get your own organization, and y'all young people need your own autonomy. So we formed a student, because it was mostly student, going to use nonviolent tactics. And we saw nonviolent as a tactic, and otherwise use it when we needed it, when it was necessary. But when they put their hands on you, you fight back and do whatever you got to do. But we just use it as a tactic, where Dr. King and his folks, they saw it as a way of life. And so we had many fights. And matter of fact, I proudly say that the first riot, the first rebellion, the first group that threw bricks and balls and fought white people toe to toe after we marched in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they attacked us. The first day, it was a mob attacking 10 people. And we said, we'll be back tomorrow. And we came back the next day with about 1,000 people, 500 people. I don't know how many, but we went downtown and we dealt them blow for blow. And when they hit us, we started breaking windows and fighting. And we had a big riot, rebellion in Chattanooga. And it was the first rebellion to go up, the first a group in the nonviolent movement to go up in rebellion and fight and throw bricks and balls and fight back. And that I was proudly a part of that group. And that so when we did that, the NAACP, Dr. King's organization, and myself and a leader, a young man named C.T. Vivian. I don't know if you heard of him, but C.T. Vivian yes. was a great brother, and he sort of coached me a lot. And that when C.T., when that happened, all the leaders came to Chattanooga because that was a rebellion and getting national attention, and they came to Chattanooga to teach us about nonviolence. And I'd never heard of such a thing. And they had somebody come slap people and spit on people and whatever. And I asked the guy, hey, let me slap you. You know, you slapping us. And I went up there, I slapped that man so hard. I slapped that man so hard. I said, this man crazy. Excuse me. I said, this man crazy. Pow! And then when I slapped him, I accepted the tactic of nonviolence. And that shortly after then, at that point, CT was working with Dr. King, and that he said, you need to be on one of these organizations. And that they chose me for SNCC. And SNCC, I started working and helped build SNCC. And when we built SNCC, our job was to go to towns, and everywhere we go, form an organization, form an executive committee, form a youth group. And we form the youth group. That youth group, we advise it, not lead it, and advise them and go out and fight with them. Any enemy we face, we fight with them, but we let them be the leaders. And the executive board, they were the boss, ran them, whatever, and we created that leadership. So every time we went in, we formed local leadership. So in the Albany movement, Dr. King came down, brought national attention to the movement, and in Albany, they put mass people in jail, mass arrests, but that was a mass movement. And later we went into into Birmingham, where they were throwing dynamite, bombed the church, killed children, just threw dynamite in the black neighborhood every night, and that kind of thing. Mobs came into our hotel, white mobs, and we had to fight just for surviving the hotel. They put bombs in the hotel where we lived, the gas motel, and that kind of thing.
Mukasa, tell me about the 4 little girls.
Well, they put a bomb in the church, and 4 little girls got killed, and a couple more was killed on the streets in Birmingham the same day. And so they were killing and fighting and bombing, and that wasn't just happening in Montgomery. It was happening in Birmingham. It was happening all around the South, and people being hung, beat, killed, and all that. So we were under major assault. And Birmingham was just something that brought attention to the whole thing. And let me just say this, African I didn't know who you were when you were talking before I saw the light. Now, what's up, African? I raised this fella here.
I'm sorry. Let me
He's
cut
one
his
of my
mic.
Morehouse soldiers.
Donnie, yeah, you know I'm one of the soldiers. But here's what happened with not long ago. My son was working for Delta, and he's on the train, the MARTA train, and he's listening to this brother talking like his father and his grandfather talk. And he said, Dad, I start listening to this guy. You got. He called me up on the phone, and I
I
said, well,
remember that
believe,
night.
who is he? He said, well, this man, he said his name is Mukasa. I said, tell him what my name is and who I am. And next thing you know, we were showing each other on the phone. I got pictures of him and my son, Donnie, the man that had the most impact on my life, had his hands on my son.
I remember that night.
Had his hands on my son, feeding my son. My son fed to this day. He dealing with some issues, but to this day, Mukasa got him straight.
That's good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that night. I met him, talked to him.
Yeah.
And we called you on the phone right from there,
yes.
right on the train.
Right
So
on
we
the train.
we gotta give me a second. Lolo, we do see you. Nathan P. Absolutely, Lolo. Callie Kilgore. Yeah, we popping still at night. Just a different flow. We've been talking lately, just so you guys know, about Native Black Americans. Do you have any Native American in your family line, Mukasa?
I'll tell you a little story. My mama's granddaddy, and they were twins, and they lived somewhere down south near Florida, and Florida, Georgia, somewhere down in there, and they got into it with some white men. And after they got into it, they had to run. And the white mob was at them, and they ran and jumped into the river. And they swam, and they got away, and they went through the woods and however they ran, but they ran for their life. And that they end up in North Alabama. And when they went to North Alabama, they went and found some women that was Native Americans, they were so-called Indians, and they married these women. And so my grandmama and all of them had long hair, looked like Native people. And some of the Native people, because some of the Native people were blacker than you and me, and they went there and married. And so many Africans, to escape the white man, they ran off from the plantations and went on the reservations. And that's how they escaped. And the Native people accepted them as their brothers and sisters. So you will always find us saying, African people saying that I got Indian blood in me, I got Native blood in me, because we love these people and they stood with us. And matter of fact, the Seminoles were blacker than you and me. And when they had a war fighting the Seminoles, Trail of Tears, who did the Trail of Tears, made them walk from Florida to Oklahoma barefooted, and 3/4 of them died. But they had a war, and when they fought that war, they realized that they were in a major war with people of African descent, because most of the Seminoles were black and whatever, but many of them. So our color and our history and culture go deep, and matter of fact, it go around the world, because you would find us building all kind of pyramids and institutions. The Moors, they were all over the place. And even if you look at China, they got a black god. Buddha is a black god. So you will find great civilization and great relationships that we had all over the world. and we weren't exploiters, but we were giving and building and teaching mathematics, science, chemistry, engineering, and all kinds of other great disciplines, and building nations and bringing people out of bad conditions into higher education and knowledge. So you can look up the African history. You'll see that we had great knowledge and relationships with people around the world.
So here's the question that we have been handling on this show. Are we, the people of the darker hue, Native Black American? Are we Moors? Are we Hebrews? Are we all of that? And that's
we could be.
All of that. We can claim all of that.
Hebrew and Moors ain't nothing but African. Moors were Africans,
Yes.
and we're known as Moors and all that kind of thing. Hebrew ain't nothing but a religion that come out of Africa, and that so only thing I would probably debate is us being American, because from my understanding that name come from somebody else in Europe.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah, so we definitely named after
Turtle Island. They called North America Turtle Island. Is my
so we definitely named after no white boy or no European or whatever, but Moors and Hebrew and whatever. We're all the same people. And then if you look at all the different names we got many different names. And then one of the strategies of the colonialists, they dropped us off in 1,000 different places, and everywhere they dropped us off, they gave us a different name. And then individually, they put us on the plantation. If you name Ricks, that means you Ricks nigga from the Ricks plantation, John nigga from the John plantation. So they don't divide us up. They went to Africa, cut it up into about 60 different pieces, and gave it all new names, different identity and whatever, and cut tribes in half and gave them different identities, cut the Africans' tongue out if they spoke their languages and all that kind of stuff, and gave them gods and all kind of other stuff that come with it, acting like they're so religious. And we have diamonds and gold and oil and silver, and they have nothing but Jesus in the Bible. And they said to take this Bible and take this religion, and you go in your die, you gonna land on some gold over yonder. And and you shut your eyes, and when you shut your eyes, they got the gold over here. And what you got to die and get some gold over yonder. Have you thinking your black butt gonna die, turn white, fly away, and land on some gold over yonder? White man, biggest lie ever existed in the world, biggest trick, biggest trick eyes in the world. And some of us go crazy over these tricks.
The biggest trick ever. How in the world can you get us, the people who introduced them to God, how can you get us to wait until we dead before we get our deliverance? It can't happen here on earth. It's got to be after you go to the by and by. That is more bullshit.
Well, hold the cusses. So let me just say this. I heard you say, Mukasa, that there were black people here before slave trade, before the European. I did
all over the world.
So you don't have a problem with us being indigenous anywhere and everywhere, all over.
I don't care. Just come on, help us fight for the revolution, help us destroy imperialism, Zionism, capitalism, and let's get ourselves together and build a great nation, institution, all that, and all that little old small piece of identity, that don't make no difference. Let's get together and put this army together. Let's put this organization together. That's what I'm fighting. I don't know all them details. Y'all smart people gonna figure that shit out. I can't figure that out.
What was that country you were fighting for the people in? Was it Venezuela?
I fought for Venezuela, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and
Uganda,
and Uganda, and that's in South and Central America, and then down in Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe.
Why would you go there?
Why? And Vietnam too. Matter of fact, I helped the Vietnamese defeat America. And been helping Palestine for the last 50 years. and whatever. We fighting to make the world better, not just Africa. Our fight is for Africa because that's our land. That's the land that economically can solve every problem that we have. You need a home base, but we use Africa, and then we use that to make the world better. Our fight is for the world, not just our little land, Africa. Just like Fidel said that he's fighting for the whole world, and that's why he brings children from all over the world, make doctors out of them, and send them back and to the different countries that they have, and they don't work for Cuba, they don't owe Cuba nothing, and he just bring them in, educate them, and send them back out to the world, and give the people free education, medicine. No, don't put them in debt. Ain't no light bill, gas bill, water bill, and that's why the United States continue to wage war on Cuba. And our job is fighting for the world. This is a worldwide system we fighting, and we concerned about every hungry person in the world. It's over Black Africans. It's over 500 million. 500 million people make less than $1.25 a day, $1.70, $80, $90 a day, and many don't even make that. And they starving to death in the Congo and all over the world where they get all their riches from. They leave the people starving.
So here's a question from Michael Smith.
What's up, Mike? What's up, African?
Here's his question. He says, what exactly is your solution for Black people?
Revolution, the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African scientific socialist government. If you're going to solve a problem, you got to have land. Land is the basis of solving all problems. Land is the basis of all revolution. Your land is Africa. You got to join an organization. You got to build a revolutionary organization. You got to build a revolutionary movement, and you got to choose the system that you're fighting for. Socialism is an economic system that everybody in the world have to fight for, and use all the natural resources to build houses, lights, gas, water, medicine, and educate the people and give the people the best decent life that the world can give them.
Okay,
example, Traore.
Okay,
Burkina Faso.
Yes, and Burkina Faso is just an acre
example.
of land in Africa that the young brothers took, and well, it's more than an acre. There's about 40, 50, 60, 70 million people, and they done took that little bit. But Africa is 5 million square miles of land, and all of our land, most of our land is still under neo-colonialism or colonialism. White companies and farmers and imperialists got military bases. The United States got about 50 military bases that we know about, and probably 50 more of them that we don't know about. And they're dropping bombs on Africa right now as we talk. They raping Africa for all this natural resources. They got our people starving to death and committing genocide on them in the Congo and what have you. They need Africa to make cars. They need Africa to make all the electronics that they make, including all the cell phones and all the stuff in the car, airplane, rockets, and everything else. And they're raping Africa, but at the same time, they're committing genocide on the masses of the people. So, young man, if you're going to be free, if you want liberation, you gotta join in organization and join revolutionary organizations and find the revolutionaries in the world, don't care where they are, join them and help them fight against imperialism and Zionism. Matter of fact, each one of us have to support Palestine. We can't be afraid of them Zionists. We must call them out, join them, and fight them, and demand that they stop committing genocide on the Palestinians, because the Democrats are doing it, the Republicans are doing it. They are Zionists, and they work for imperialism, and we know they do. And they committing genocide not only in Palestine, they committing genocide in the Congo, even worse than Palestine. They committing genocide in Sudan right now as we talk, in South Africa, all over the world. And matter of fact, your people, your brothers and sisters are under bridges, in the prisons right now. So ain't nothing changed. These folks, they bad now. They coming. And we better get organized and get our armies together and organizations together and get ready for them. Did I answer your question, young brother?
You did, Robbie. Here's a question, and this, Robbie, this is what came out of last night, and probably the reason that I welcome you to share some input. It says, and this is from Callie Kilgore. Thank you, Callie, and thank you for respect. He says his opinion is we have to stop framing everything starts with African agenda. We have to stop framing everything starts with an Africa agenda.
Stop blaming.
Somebody sounds like somebody brainwashed.
Stop framing. Stop. Instead of us having an Afrocentric perspective, this brother, who I presume Callie Kilgore is a native Black American. That's how he identifies, primarily, that everything should be centric around melanated people in North America. And what I shared last night on this show is that, having learned from elders like you, having a big brother like Robbie, I have always been trained, and I'm open to dialogue. I have always been educated, trained to understand that Africa is the motherland of all mankind.
All mankind.
And so that's where the discussion got a little. It was as if I was being told that I can't say yes, I am proud of my indigenous roots, but yes, I'm also proud of my African roots. As if I'm to be ashamed of my African brothers. And then the question came up, what has Africa ever done for me? And my response was, I never asked Africa for anything.
But tell him, just look in the mirror.
What has Africa ever done for him?
Look in the mirror.
Mukasa said it. Look in the mirror. You wouldn't even be here at all.
You know, it's our land, and many people just want to hold on to this land and don't want to rise up with Africa and whatever. Africa is the richest continent in the world, got all the natural resources in the world, built all them great civilizations in the world. Why is it that anybody wouldn't want to identify with Africa? And we definitely ain't fighting for no Black people in America, because Black people in America are so-called Africans in America. You ain't but a handful of people. You're not even a dozen eggs in the world. You're a handful of people. And that, matter of fact, Elijah Muhammad say that all the folks in the United States, Black folks in America, might have to die fighting, and to save the rest of the Africans in the world. And that because we ain't fighting for no one group of people, we fighting for our people, Africans, worldwide. And this going to the billions of people, and we're fighting for them worldwide. But at the same time, of course, we're part of the world revolution. But our people, Africa, we have to be like China. You can't be free and powerful without having China. Now they got China, they got a big army, they got big economics, they got nuclear weapons, they got everything they take for them to develop. They can make everything else in the world, even though they got to come to Africa to get the natural resources. We can do the same thing for ourselves. This is what we're trying to do. We don't want to hear nobody in Jamaica. I'm fighting for Jamaica. I'm fighting for the Caribbean. I'm fighting for this little island. I'm fighting for this little island. United States ain't nothing but a little small island, and all this gonna fade away one day. And I'm not fighting for no America and all that. I'm fighting for Africa and African people worldwide. And of course, I'm a socialist, so I'm fighting for the people of freedom fighters worldwide. And we all have to fight together, because we got a worldwide enemy. When one European nation fight, all of them fight you. And why we gonna try to talk about, you know damn well you can't fight these people in America by yourself. You ain't gonna do nothing here. There ain't nothing. They got a big army. They got ways of exterminating. You got you in concentration camp. They got you living on the bridge. They got you hungry. You ain't got no army. Ain't hardly got no weapons. Them little pop shooters you got and whatever. And that where you take Africa, you can build your nuclear bomb like North Korea. North Korea got some sense. They might be small, but they got enough. They got something over there saying you bet not come this way. And they fighting. They saying, because the United States went there and killed a third of their population in Korea. And then they divided the land up, and Korea said, we'll fight until you're dead. Get off our land. And that's what they fighting, to unite Korea. Our fight is to unite African people worldwide. Build a land, build a base, and then we can say, all y'all who want to return to Africa, come home, and you can go. But many of y'all gonna want to stay over here with the white man, of course.
Robbie, you want to get a comment in? Because we like tired of watching you drive.
Huh? What you say?
I like
Hold up. Robbie, you want to get something in? Because we're going to wait till you get to wherever you're going, because you're messing up the visual, you know? It's breaking up. No. We'll wait for you to get situated. Hopefully you'll be there shortly. Mukasa, any thoughts for... Tell me about today's young people. You were the young person back then. You were the student. What do you see in the students today? You saw me as a young boy when I was 18 years old. I'm 60 now. What do you see as the elder in the young men that walk on that campus today?
Well, they just got to be educated. They got to be organized. They got to be put in organizations. And all the little gang brothers, I hang out with some gang boys all the time, every day almost. And they got their little gang, get their little signals and stuff like that, you know, however they do. And that kind of thing. But I go to them and I teach them about the African Revolution, teach them about Pan-Africanism, and tell them that they need to take this sophisticated organization. They ain't a gang. They some sophisticated organization, secret society that's come out of Africa, come out of Kemet, and that's what they are, even if they don't know it. And they're gonna have to fight and join in with our brothers in Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and other freedom fighters of the world. So all these little gang members, they are our future armies, but we got to go at them because the enemy, the police, the United States government is waging war against our children, and we know it, and we can't turn against our children. We got to guide them into the revolution. That's what they're scared of, that these children will come together and not fight each other. They put the guns out there for them to fight each other. United States put the dope out there in the community. And the United States is the worldwide largest dope runner and in the world, and we know that. And that they break up our children. They broke up the family while their mom and dad and uncles and aunties and all their neighbors couldn't guide and direct our children. They broke them up. They break up our neighborhood where we don't know each other, can't work together. They broke up all our business and factories. They broke up all our schools and broke up Africa into all these different pieces, broke up our tribes, broke up our culture, broke up our everything. And they destroy it, and that we are here rambling and running, and that's why our children are being killed and murdered and destroyed. The United States continue to wage war on them, and they're our children, and they're our warriors, and they're our future, and we have to go out there to get them. I talk to them every day, and they love the revolution.
A young man said to me that Marcus Garvey was a scammer.
Was it who?
Marcus Mosiah Garvey was a scammer. And I said to him, why would you say that? He said, because the government locked him up for that reason. And I said, you mean the same government that you're telling me stole from you and your family? Who was Marcus Garvey to you? Why do you have him on your wall back there?
Because Marcus Garvey was the greatest organizer of all our people. He organized Africans all over the world without television, without internet, without all the electronics. And he went and organized people all over the world to liberate Africa and to liberate our people. He fought against slavery and oppression of all that. He gave us more dignity probably than anybody else in the world. And today, Marcus Garvey is celebrated all over the world all day long. There are flags. Every flag in Africa represents Marcus Garvey except Liberia. Every flag in Africa, red, black, and green in some form or fashion, and that they represent Marcus Garvey. And Marcus Garvey, the UNIA, that's what we have to know, because organization is the #1 weapon, and that the UNIA have chapters all over the world. They have organized people all over the world. And today organizations are being born and they support Marcus Garvey, and they're trying to be like Marcus Garvey. And the UNIA and Marcus Garvey is over every organization that we fight and build. And we honor Marcus Garvey, and that the United States killed us to put us on slave ships. Named slave, one of the slave ships was called Slave Ship Jesus, Mary, and all that. And they put us on these slave ships. They cut us up in little pieces to make other Africans be afraid of them. They killed you and committed genocide on you, people on your land. They put you in slave dungeons and made you walk miles and miles barefooted. They kill you at will, rape your children at will, and they put you on these ships, put chains on your hand, neck, and feet, and just drove you to death. They threw so many overboard that the sharks in the ocean would follow the ship wherever it go, and that and brought you over here and sold you like you sell a wood, and sold you, rob you, cut your tongue out if you spoke your language and whatever. They killed hundreds of millions of people that was in this land you call it North and Central America. They committed genocide on them. They committed genocide on you in Africa, and they continue to do it as this day. They got you in the jails and prison, which ain't nothing but concentration camps, death camps, and whatever. And they got them all over the world, and they're doing it now. And therefore, we don't give a nothing about what they say and whatever. Marcus Garvey is our God, and we love him, and we will fight for him, and we will be just like him.
All right, so I got to give you this other critique that they said of Marcus Messiah Garvey. And let me just say, I was called into the office because they said last night I let too much of myself get into the show. So I'm trying to be a professional here. But I just took offense when somebody comes to me about Marcus Garvey.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody who organized the largest group of Black people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm anyway,
well, it's good the young man said that.
Okay, he said
that, and that's why you have to take time to explain to him all the education of Marcus Garvey, all the education of Africa, all the education of African history. Back in the day, even at Morehouse, I had some of the brothers say the dumbest stuff in the world to me, but I stayed patient with them and educated them. And now, and 4 hours out of Morehouse, when I got there, they were ready to fight, run me off the campus. And before I left, I took 10,000 out to fight in 1992. Behind that Rodney King thing, 10,000 was out there fighting, hollering, ooh, hooroo. And so our job is to educate our people, and the enemy make them dumb. They go to the dumb school. They listen to the dumb preachers. They listen to the dumb television. They listen to the dumb governor, the dumb president, the dumb teachers, the dumb all of this. And that's why they talk dumb. And that's why we have to give them information that will.
So here's a question, and I did not have an answer. It was brought to the table last night that Marcus Garvey went to the Klan and said, and I'm just paraphrasing, Callie Kilgore. So I guess the question is, did you hear anything ever about Marcus Garvey going to the Klan?
Yeah, he met with the Klan, tell them, leave us alone, and we ain't worried about you. We don't want to be with you. We want our nation, our own land, and whatever. And I'm sure he made that clear. And then and the Klan, I'd rather meet with the Klan than to meet with the United States government and to meet with the Democrat and Republican. They worse than the Klan. They ain't nothing but a bunch of mass murderers. The Klan ain't killed as many people as the United States have. Look, they killed millions of people in Iraq, in Syria, in Africa, 1 billion people in Africa, and they still dying, 1 billion people all over here. So the government and imperialism is what we're fighting for, and that we ain't fighting for no little small group like the Klan. We're going to whoop them if they get in the way, of course, and they are in the way. We don't mind doing that, But our fight is for Africa. Our fight is for the total liberation and unification of Africa under an all-African scientific socialist government. And this is what we have to do. And we have to say to everybody that can hear our voice tonight, you should break up into groups of 10. And y'all should sit down and start listening to Marcus Garvey together. Read his books and listen to his speeches and discuss them with each other. And just break down into groups of 10 on the internet or however you do it and discuss Africa, discuss Pan-Africanism. But everybody should be part of a group. The individual can't do it by itself. It has to be done with groups. And we call it organization, but we have to now come to the same philosophy, the same ideals, the same ideology, and we have to discuss and get understanding. And of course, when we start discussing, some people will be a little ignorant, and you do have ignorant people. If you live in the United States, you are ignorant. You don't know where you come from, don't know your history, don't know your culture, and that's what their job to do, is to make you ignorant. Make you ignorant. Put a gun in your hand, see how ignorant you are. Where you give you a gun, and then you, instead of shooting them, you shoot each other. That's why I used to argue with the Tuskegee Airmen all the time. So y'all suckers, y'all down here getting on these airplanes, flying out of Tuskegee, flying over to Africa or somewhere, wherever them white folks had you, dropping bombs, and you should have dropped the bomb right here in Alabama. I used to tell them that all the time. I knew the Tuskegee Airmen, a lot of them. I was in Tuskegee. And so our fight is for Africa, man. And this is what we have to concentrate on. Like there's a worldwide organization called the All African People's Revolutionary Party. There are organizations and groups that's rising up, like in Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali. There are groups in Guinea-Bissau. There are PAC in South Africa that's struggling, trying to get them folks off the land. They got 60,000 mining companies in South Africa right now. Mandela didn't solve the problem. 60,000. And they probably got 100,000 or more in the Congo or more, and they got death squads down there. And the way you clear the land, you kill and commit genocide on the people on the land. And this is what iPhone, all of them are doing. And that Africa is being raped, and they preparing to drop bigger bombs and be able to kill millions at a time. And this is what they're doing. And we should be talking about organization. We should be talking about movement, because our people are catching hell. And you know it. Drive down there and look under the bridges and stuff like that. And you'll see what they're doing to us. They're doing it. And they put them in school. Now in school, you can't even mention slavery. You can't even mention Africa. You can't even mention what they have done to us and all that. They said you mention that kind of stuff, you hurting little white children's feeling. If you tell the truth on white people, you're hurting their feeling. They closing down African study programs. They closing down all that stuff in Washington D.C. Them whatever they got in Washington D.C. About our history and culture. They're taking that out. And just putting all that colonial stuff back in. Like when I was a little boy, only thing you learned about in school was the Pilgrims and the Greeks and the Romans and all that. Well, I didn't stay in school long enough to get to the Greeks and Romans, but learn about the damn Pilgrim, how you're singing hillbilly songs. When I was a little boy, they told me I was going to die and turn white and that kind of thing. And I didn't want to die and turn white. And that's why I didn't go to church and didn't listen to the preacher. And all that kind of dumb stuff. And he's singing hillbilly song and doing that kind of thing. So all this just confusion. And so the child that was dumb, who I'll take an F before I get an 8 in that mess. And many of us did that. And this is how you say, but these brothers and sisters making A's, they damaging their brains. Listen to all that garbage and stuff. You don't learn about no Kemet. You don't learn about Ghana, Mali, and Sung Hey. You don't learn about your derivatives and all that. You only learn about what white people tell you. And that's what we have to erase that. And now it's time for us to talk about Pan-Africanism.
Mukasa, let me expand on that. Let me expand on that.
Yes, sir, man.
And what I want to do is I want to bring some real numbers to the table. And this is some stuff that we don't know. our people don't know or didn't know. Why are they acting the way they acting right now? Not just Trump, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
When you say they all in cahoots, why are they acting the way they're acting? They are disappearing. Their numbers are going away. Where we used to think this was a white man's world, I'm going to give you some true numbers. You have anybody call me and challenge me on them, go to Google if you want. When you ask Google or any AI, what is the global population percentage-wise of white/European people in the world? The true number in 1914, white people made up 39.5% of the global population. In 1960, I was born in 63. In 1960, that percentage became 28.5. In 2023, 2 years ago, white people make up 13% of the global population. They're acting the way they're acting because based on their own interpretation, they are obviously recessive. And I don't want to say that in a way of trying to put anybody down, but if a white man and a white woman have a baby, you got a white baby. If a Chinese man and a white woman have a baby, I'm sorry, you got an Asian baby. If a white man and a Latino has a baby, Latino is a culture, it's going to wind up being a part of that Latino culture. If a black man and a white woman has a baby, that baby is going to wind up being black. That's why they're trying to deport all these Latinos. That's why they're trying to make it so that Africans don't get to come into this country. At the Emancipation Proclamation, this country put a 0% immigration quota on anyone from Africa or from any country that had people of African descent. So for all of those years, they were whitening the country, bringing white folks in through Baltimore, through New York, just bringing them in and not allowing blacks to come into this country. That was controlling our population. We haven't grown beyond 15%. At one time, we were 22%, but that was right after the Emancipation Proclamation. Ever since, they've been controlling our population with jail, with vaccinations, if you want to say that, with drug addiction, and everything else that they could put on us to keep us down, controlling our population. When the whole time, they're disappearing. They are only 13% of the global population today. That's why they're acting the way they're acting. And guess what? It was not hard to get them to get on Trump's side because he's talking white supremacy. This is all this white supremacy BS.
Right. And also, when they killed Trayvon, a 15-year-old boy, that young boy never had the babies to come out of him that was there.
Right.
He probably had 5, 6 babies in him. And each one of them babies would have had 5 or 6 babies in them. So that's 30-some people. And each one of them would have had 5 or 6 babies. So that's getting into the hundreds. And each one of them getting in 5 or 6 babies, that's getting into the thousands. So every time you kill one little African boy, you're killing thousands. And they're committing genocide on us. And every day you look around, many of our children dying every minute. And in prison, they putting 14, 13-year-old children in jail. and up to being 45, 50, them are the ones they round up because they got babies in them, and them babies can never be born, and that's the same as killing them or committing genocide on them. And that so they doing it in many, many different ways. And our fight is to take Africa back, have a land where our people can live and make babies and flourish, and when we should have children, they should be paid to have each baby. They should be given a house, lights, gas, water, free nursery, daycare, and education for the rest of their life. And this is what we need to do. And this is kind of society. We must build a socialist society where we can solve the problems of our people. Now, we know these problems exist, but now how do we build Africa? How do we bring our people together? And the number one thing we need to do is to have organization. Yes. You can't do it without organization.
The first thing Burkina Faso did.
Kind of organization. And from that organization, you can put the education department together where we can put out many, many books and other materials where we can educate our children and educate people. People need education. Many people they've been told to hate Martin Luther King or to hate Marcus Garvey or to hate themselves, hate your hair, your nose, your lips, your skin, and to hate Africa. And this is what the education they have gotten. And our job is to build organization and we put together an institution where we can educate them beyond that.
I got a question for you. Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Of course I have. Yes, I saw it in Angola.
Oh, yeah?
Saw it in Mozambique. In
what
Zimbabwe.
About your friend Mukasa? What about your friend in Libya?
Oh, Gaddafi had the most richest land in the world, most richest country in Africa, and he was trying to unite Africa and do all that, and that's why they killed him. United States, Democrat, Obama, and those killed him, and that Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, Sékou Touré laid the foundation for all this in Guinea, and that you've had many great civil freedom fighters that was doing the same thing, and that the United States go and kill them. That's what Castro is probably the greatest one of all of us, all the freedom fighters.
Who killed
Patrice Lumumba in the Congo. He was one of the most important.
Yeah, and they have killed him. But Castro has been he's the god of the revolution. Him and Che Guevara, they're the gods of the revolution. And all the revolutionaries honor Fidel, and he laid the foundation, laid the map out for liberation. So we love Fidel, we honor Fidel, and what have you.
This guy says Africa betrayed Gaddafi. I've never heard that. I know. He said Africa betrayed Gaddafi.
Yes, they did. And they betrayed him by allowing the United Nations and the United States and the European nations to come bomb him and kill him. And he had fought with all the liberation movements to help run the white man off the land, Nigeria and Uganda, South Africa, all of them. He had helped them, and he was trying to unite Africa. He was the head of the Organization of African Unity. He was like the president of Africa, and the United States and those went there and bombed him. And none of the countries put their armies out, and blew up the United States, killed them wherever they were, let them remain on their lands and territories. All the people that didn't fight and raise hell when they killed Gaddafi betrayed Gaddafi.
So I've historically looked at it, and Callie Kilgore, you see the link in here because you can just click the link and come in yourself because you can speak for yourself. But I've looked at it from an American-centric perspective in that Obama co-signed that man's death. So I've never really looked at it from what Africa did to betray him.
Obama was a neo-colonialist. Obama was
Africa got snitched.
Neo-colonialists worse than white people.
We know Africa got people who work for foreign governments. We know that part. I've always looked at it from what role America played in it
America's the #1 killer.
Damn right. So,
and they financed kill America's overthrow and coup d'etat and assassinated more leaders in the world than any other nation. Matter of fact, America took up the colonial nation after the people around the world ran them off their land. The United States took them all up. And went to all the different countries, assassinated the different leaders and presidents, and destroyed people by the millions. And now they control all these different lands around the world. Got military, jails, prisons, death camps all around the world.
So they
CIA, FBI.
So this is what I said. So one of the things said last night again was, what has Africa done for me? In other words, Donnie, how can you embrace Africa? How can you embrace the mother continent, the motherland of all people? And Robbie, I think this is a perfect time to segue to my bomb question to you, because Callie Kilgore and others tend to think that if you're Native American, you have no relationship to the motherland. Don't all mankind?
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. If you are European, born in London, England, you have a relation directly to Africa. The Son Bushman is in everybody's blood. Whether you black, white, European, or if he wants to call himself Native American, have him do his DNA, and he will see that there's a certain percentage of sub-Saharan African in his DNA. Everybody on the face of the earth. If you consider yourself Homo sapien sapien, two of them, sapien sapien, then you are of African descent. If you aren't Homo sapien sapien, then you probably aren't of African descent. But there's no one on the face of this earth, even the ones who have Neanderthal in their blood, even they have African blood. So to say that, what has Africa done for you? I'm gonna go back to what Mukasa said. Look in the mirror. You wouldn't be who you are if Africa wasn't smiling upon you. Wouldn't be who you are at all. The religion that you think you worship, it's an African story. Christianity is an African story based on African spirituality. They all get their story from the same wall in Ipitashut or Karnak. On that wall, you see aspects of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. All of them. If you look at the Muslims, talking to them brothers too, the Muslims, Muhammad Mutalib, the father of Muhammad, of Prophet Muhammad, described in books, not the Quran, in books, as black as the night and as handsome as many. His Prophet Muhammad's best friend, the first person that got converted into Islam, was a brother by the name of Bilal. Bilal is from Ethiopia. Anybody in Asia who says they don't have African blood or Ethiopian blood are lying to you. We went both directions, but if they want to consider themselves, Americans, then you have to deal with the brother who made Mansa Musa wealthy, who took his wealth and went to the Americas. And if you don't want to deal with that, then you got to deal with the Olmec. The Olmec, even older, even longer ago. Olmec were in the Americas before the Native Americans came across from Siberia, before there were Indians. So if you want to say Africans are native to Africa, to America, yeah, that's because we traveled over there. There are waterways that all you got to do is just throw something that floats in the water. It'll get from Africa to the Americas just by floating, because they're channels, water channels that'll take you over. Plain and simple, that's Africa.
And that Africa, and that I don't care what you are, I don't care whether you call yourself, Africa's our land, and we must fight to liberate it. And if you call yourself some kind of person born in America, could be America, but whatever the native people, Aztec, Maya, or whatever you want to call it. If you ain't part of an organization, if you ain't part of fighting for the liberation of these territories, fighting to destroy imperialism and colonialism and neo-colonialism, these Uncle Tom traders and all that, then you're just talking anyway. Our fight is to organize our people, and what we need is people to come on and let's organize, and that our fight is against capitalism, imperialism, and Zionism, and neo-colonialism, and we don't care about that other stuff, and we don't care about whatever color you are, whatever blood you got in you. We care about what's in your mind. If it's in your mind to be a revolutionary, be a force for Africa, be a force for the people, be a liberation fighter, then you who we're looking for, and not and that other stuff is just confusing people and whatever. What difference do it make whether you were born in the ocean, born on a ship, born in China, you're still African. Africa's there, and we just want to liberate it and make it a decent place for African people worldwide, and control our resources and do what we got to do, and stop America and France and Britain and Germany and all these other imperialist powers from raping our territory and raping our people. We need to burn down all these jails and prisons and get our people out of them. Our children out here calling us, whether in the United States or in Africa. They need us right now. You know they do. And those kind of arguments don't mean nothing. Let's build some institutions. Let's build organizations that can address the problems that our people are facing today. Because many people even listening to us right now are hungry. We got to build organizations that we can look to and begin to talk about solving these problems and liberating Africa, liberating our territory, and liberating all these territories in North and Central and South America, all over. And that the people that living in America, I've worked and fought with El Salvador, Guatemala, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba and Castro. Yeah, so they're fighting. So join them. That Mexico is rising up. Join Mexico. We are going to have to fight. And the argument about how much blood you got don't mean nothing. Question is what's in your mind, who you with.
Right. They
That's
throw us
number
off
one.
with all kinds of stuff. They use maps in the past.
So I
They
got a
use the
little all that
Mercator.
blood in me. I got some of Ho Chi Minh's blood and Mao Zedong blood and Nat Turner's blood and our brothers in Haiti, Denmark, Vesey and Desaline, and I got some all of them. If they chop the slave master's head off and fight against the slave master, I know that's my cousin.
Robbie, I got this picture.
About what is our ideology? How do we build our ideology? How do we organize our brothers out here in the streets and in the gangs? And how do we go to them? How do we create soldiers to go to them? How do we put these organizations together? How do we get everybody in some kind of organization? How do we do it?
First, we got to realize we're not a minority.
Oh, we're the majority of the world. The majority of the masses of the world. Matter of fact, capitalism and imperialism is less than 1% of the world. It ain't all the people. It ain't even all the white folks ain't with them.
Right.
They raping and killing them too. And that capitalist is the one we got to go. Capitalism is their base. If you destroy imperialism, then people can live together. When in Cuba, when you had all that overt racism and all that kind of stuff, Castro came, made a revolution, put everybody in schoolhouses, made all discrimination against the law, and opened the door for everybody to come in. It put it down. You know, it's there, but it's hard. You got to matter of fact, when you get through shooting and get the guns laid down, the most important thing now, how do you rebuild the people's mind and their culture and their history and get them to be who they are and to be decent human beings and to be for the people and be for the world and make the world better. And that's what you got to build. We got to build these people. And that's when revolution started after the last gun is fired. We got to get all this crazy stuff that they have put in our heads and children. Yes. And it would take hundreds of years to get that out. But the gun thing, it's going to last for a minute. But
anybody telling you to not claim Africa, you got to get that out your head.
Yeah.
That guy talking about not claiming Africa, you got to get that out your head. That's how they want you to think.
Of course, you got to educate
out there.
Where are our institutions? Where are our schools? What have we taught these people? and they're looking for the truth. All these people out here looking for the truth. How do we get soldiers to go and sit down with them? Why do we put these institutions together? That's why I had to go and invade many institutions and go in there and chat. And matter of fact, it was us that forced them to put Black studies on these campuses now. An African studies program. We went and took guns, had these children to pick up guns. We want African studies. We demand African studies. Because one time, when none of these schools, including Morehouse, but Romans and Greeks and all that kind of stuff, we had to go up in there and force it. And on the white school, we went up there and took over administration, kidnapped the administrative. Matter of fact, we had to kidnap Jane O'Mays down there one time too.
Oh yeah.
We kidnapped them all. We want Black studies. And I went on the campus. When I went on the AU campus back in the day, the word Africa wasn't even up in there. They didn't even talk about no Africa. And they thought I was the smartest man in the world because I was in there talking about Africa, and all of them come to tackle me, and I'll put them all. I go in the classroom, and all them brothers up there, A student, I went to Spelman, did the same thing, and then run over to Clark and do the same thing. And that's how I got on there, and I had to do some work up in there. But today, you know, it's going back toward colonialism now. But we got some good conscience and good educational brothers out of that AU center, and some of them are still going around the world pushing
right. That's what I was going to say.
Today.
You touched over 60,000 people, I'm quite sure. You was getting 10,000 a year just going through the campus. Whether they listened or not, now when they hear and see things go now, everybody that I see, man, remember Mukasa? I tell people I'm still in contact with Mukasa. He said, man, he was schooling the hell out of us. Man, I didn't believe this. I didn't. Left and right, you'd be surprised how many minds you actually touched.
Well, it was like planting a garden. My job was to go up in there and drop the seeds. Hey, African, and just drop that seed on him. And one day he gonna have to deal with being an African, all the kind of stuff now. And what we were telling them now, they thinking about it right now, because they began to see it. And the world is out there. But when I was there, Africa wasn't even there. I had to go and whoop old Carl, Dean Carter, and that little Uncle Tom, and all the rest of them, and say, Africa, Africa, Africa.
Mukasa, there's two judges. I ain't going to name their names. They're my good friends that are on TV today, and they got their own shows. They listen to you, too. And they judges on TV. One live in L.A., and I can't say where the other one lives.
Well, I know what's called on there. I see him all the time. On that little judge show, I know him very well. I told him
Kevin Ross, yeah, the Kevin Ross on the West Coast.
Yeah, I know Kevin Ross. I know him well. I used to be on him every day in his room everywhere. Yeah, Kevin.
Robbie, I want you to take us for a second. Let me just jump in here. Robbie, take me for a second of what this picture is of, and why it is so significant to you.
Well,
if you look at those children, if you look at those people there, the children and their father, because that's their father. I know this picture. You can look into their faces and you'll see every race on the face of the earth. It's their seed. It's their DNA that's in everybody on the face of the earth. That woman who they call the Eve, mitochondrial Eve. There's a relationship there. These people are the San Bushmen. They migrated out of Africa during the last mini ice age. So that was about 60 to 80,000 years ago.
Now, are you sure about this? Have you researched this? Because we have a lot of scholars on here. I've researched it.
Yeah.
I have not found anyone who can present evidence to deny that the San Bushmen have the oldest DNA on Earth. I have not. If you want
There's
to
nobody on the face of the earth that can say that. Because it's proven.
Yes. And so if you want to come on this show, let me put the link right here. You're more than welcome. But this I am all for Native American. Let me just say this. I'm all for Native American, all for it, 1 million. But don't tell me I can't be connected to Africa, and certainly don't try to shame me because you got the wrong person. I don't know where you think.
Man, I mean, the native people, this land, the Aztecs, the Mayas, and all them people, they're great people, build great civilization. We got a lot to learn from them.
Hell, the valuable North
build great nations and fight great armies with them.
Donnie,
hey, Robbie, you the boule, Robbie.
Look, let me expound on this. Let me expound on this.
I didn't know you was boule, Robbie. You were holding out.
There are three people who we can consider the originals. There are really three peoples. One is the San Bushmen. Two is the Khoikhoi. The Khoikhoi and the San actually, in some places, are together. They call them Khoisan. And the reference you hear, Khoisan, is after they came together and mixed. The other one is the It's who the pygmies come from. I can't think of their original name, but it's where the pygmies come from. All three of them are considered the oldest on Earth. All three. The pygmies and the West Africans. A lot of West Africans come from the people that the pygmy came from. And the people that are pygmy, not all of them are short. Not all of them. Some of them were short.
I came with them in the Congo, and then when I was in the Congo, I hung with them. I know.
How many countries you been to, Mukasa?
Huh?
How many African countries you been to of the 50?
I have no idea. I've been to a bunch of them. Matter of fact, getting ready to go back next month to Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali.
Man, I need a picture of you. Are you getting the picture with Ibrahim Traore? You getting the picture with the captain, with Ibrahim Traore?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Man, we got to see that picture. Why is what's happening? Okay, so you say you've seen this kind of progress in Africa before.
All over. Might last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, whatever. It might last 6 months. We're at war. There have been many freedom fighters all over Africa. They come and go. And matter of fact, all over the world. Freedom fighters are all over the place. Some we don't even know their name, don't even know where they are, but they're doing a good job and great jobs.
Donnie, Burkina Faso just spent $2 billion.
I'm proud of what's happening there, bro.
On what?
I don't care what nobody.
Listen to this. Burkina Faso just spent $2 billion. What they made their purchase for was for Chinese-made tanks and bulldozers. Right now, they're building the infrastructure, connecting the countries that are right around them. Because if I'm not mistaken, they're landlocked. They're using that to build the roads and build the infrastructure, and they're also building a tunnel to the ocean right now. And they can do that because they stopped all of the deals with Europeans. They stopped the Europeans from getting the gold. They cut all of the contracts, renegotiated all the contracts so that they're making the profit.
Of course, because the contracts that they had wasn't nothing but rape and robbery. Wasn't nothing but a robbery. You end up with nothing.
Absolutely.
And they end up with all of it.
And that's all over Africa.
Our job now is we're trying to get the other nations that's controlled by France to come on with these. These would be Senegal, Nigeria,
Hold up.
Guinea.
I ain't finished with you, big brother Mukasa. They told the French military to get up and out of there. In your lifetime, you've not seen that.
I hadn't seen that.
Have you?
Have you seen the Italians did it.
The Italians got their butts kicked out of Ethiopia.
Sekou Touré did it in 1958. He told them, said, we would rather be rich, and we would rather be poor and free than to be rich and under substitute. And that's what Touré is trying to be, is like Sekou Touré. Sekou Touré laid the foundation for African unity back in 1958 when he gained independence. And when he gained independence, The French broke everything in the country, tore up everything in the country, toilet suits, cut the electric wires, did everything, and that they didn't have nothing. And Kwame Nkrumah gave Sekou Touré $12 million and say, here, this is yours, build your nation, and you don't owe nothing because that's African money. Kwame Nkrumah and him and Sekou Touré were partners.
Yep.
And Sekou Touré did the same thing in Ghana before the CIA led a coup d'etat and took the government from it.
Guess who took
Modibo Keita was doing the same thing in Mali. So they trying to be like Modibo Keita. And in Mozambique, Samara Machel and took up guns and fought the revolution and did the same thing. And one day he was flying his airplane, and South Africa shot down his airplane. And then he had a revolution in Angola, in Namibia, and what have you. And I was able to participate in all that and had assignments from all of them. And that, so it ain't nothing new. And liberation ain't nothing new.
You talking about the man who knew Idi Amin?
Oh, Idi Amin gave me my name. As a matter of fact, Idi Amin did identical the same thing they did. Idi Amin took the country, put all the white folks on the plane, put them out, took everything that British had, put it and gave it to the Africans, took everything that the Zionist Jews had and gave it to the Africans, and put 76,000 Indians on the plane, put them out the country, and made Uganda for the Ugandans. And then he brought us over here and gave me citizenship and even put me in his little army. Idi Amin Dada. You remember Idi Amin Dada?
I remember the movie, and I remember as a young man.
Oh, the movie was bullshit.
I know it was, and that's what I peeped in the movie. I knew that the picture America and Hollywood had painted of Idi Amin, I knew something wasn't right. Just like with cowboy and Indian movies. And you ain't got to be the biggest researcher. Cowboy and Indian movies, as a little kid, I cheered for the Indians innately.
Matter of fact, I was a little boy buying guns. My mom and dad, the first thing they ever bought me was a cap gun. I was riding a horse, a stick, shooting Indians. That's how brainwashed they treat you. That's how much. As a matter of fact, right now,
that's
they
what
got
weapons will do.
The best weapons in the world inside of Africa that's fighting to kill the Africans. And fighting for imperialism, fighting for the French, the British, the United States. United States got 40-something army bases in Africa that we know about, and covert army bases that we don't know about. And Africans looking like you, government African looking like you, Obama looked like you, and he was a killer, the number one killer. He wasn't no African, but he had some African blood in him. He was an agent of imperialism. And anytime you're an agent of imperialism, what color do it make? And some of the greatest freedom fighters come in all forms and colors, like Che Guevara. Che was one of the greatest. He is the greatest.
So they want us to join. Mike, you have a chance to come in and be a part of this however you like. I don't know what you want me to do. I told you I don't know how to do this operation you want me to do. So if you want to do it some other way. And let me just say, last night, a big reason why you are here is because I can think for myself. Present the facts to me, Robbie, as much as forthright as you can be. Over years, I've taken what you've said piece by piece and looked at it piece by piece. And if stuff makes sense, then it makes sense. And I'm open to new information. But as I am learning new information, I am not the most studied in all of these areas. But if you feed it to me with respect, then I can digest it. But if you come at me and say, if you don't believe like I do, then you're the devil, you're the spawn of Satan, and all of this foolishness, because you two who have shared information with me since I was 18, never, ever. Mukasa, you have enlightened thousands of us. I never heard you speak ill. I've never heard you speak ill, ever.
Well, I come to spread unity and love, not all that other stuff. All I do is come to save my people, and the truth that that somebody give that I have gotten picked up, I just come to share with them and tell them to research it and look for it. And I just enjoy talking to them, They talking positive, negative. I enjoy all of it, and then we can just debate it and talk about it and make friends and be the best of buddies. You ain't got to agree with me. I ain't ask nobody to agree. I just come to drop the truth out there, and then you tell what you think, and I tell what I think, and move on. And it ain't never nothing personal. And our fight is for the liberation of Africa. Our fight is to transform our young people that's confused, and the more confused they are, then the more work we have to do with them.
Robbie, how many people came to his birthday party?
Oh my
I couldn't
God.
count them.
Mukasa, I found my film.
Come on, hold on. Just stop.
I got the
Don't do
film
that.
from his birthday
Oh,
party.
from the birthday?
Oh, yeah.
I found it. I had lost it. I found everything
where
I
the
took.
pictures-
How many
where-
people came? I'm going to say 250,
I have no
225,
idea.
250. In that, well, I'm going by the capacity of the room because the room got filled. And
But
then
there's a lot of people. It's a
people
whole lot of
standing
people
up.
outside. The firemen wouldn't let other folks come in.
Right.
A lot
And
of
then
people outside too.
people was on their phones showing what was going on for this man's birthday. Now, what's crazy is who was there to honor him. Ex-mayors, ex-political people, all kinds of people. I was shocked that we got a chance to speak. We the kids that he taught. We the people that he taught. I'm listening to the people that are at his level and above, people that I know that run the city of Atlanta, people I know that run the state of Georgia. They all was there, bowing, giving praise to Mukasa. I was
I knew
like,
they
oh
wasn't
my
but a bunch of
God.
little chump, all them politicians. I didn't even want them to come. If I'd known they were coming, I'd lock the door.
They
And
was
then,
all there.
I had people call, from Guinea-Bissau and from Africa and whatever. I'm looking for revolutionaries, and I wish Castro could have came and all and Lumumba and all them kind of people. And little old politicians, I know they ain't got no power, can't do nothing. And matter of fact, to make it clear, look at the mayor in Washington, D.C. today. She can't do nothing. They don't send in there and told her you nothing. Sit down. Yeah. They can't do nothing. Matter of fact, since you started voting, more black folks are hungry and starving to death. From the time we first started voting, we suffered more now than ever before. Nothing. It don't mean nothing. Damn some voting. Everybody get freedom and liberation, pick up guns and take it. And I let them know that all them little politicians ain't nothing but a bunch of little puppets that don't mean nothing. And the ones that meant the most to me was my Morehouse soldiers when they got up on the stage and talked. And I appreciate them. Them other little folk guys to get out of here.
Robbie,
man, we've been taking his teachings all over. But let me tell you this. I met his beautiful wife. I met his son. He's talking about Castro in Cuba. His son is a doctor. And Mukasa sent him to Cuba to get his medical degree for free.
And I send other students there. If anybody want to go to medical school, we now accepting them in Cuba.
He will take you
with a high school degree. You don't need no college degree. You can now come to Cuba, graduate from high school, come to Cuba and leave a doctor.
And get your medical degree.
Work with that program. I work with, and that's how I got my son in. And today, my son's a doctor, and now he's a chairman of 32,000 doctors that Cuba has made. And here he's in Africa right now with a cadre of doctors in the villages solving different problems that the people have. Today he's right now in Africa. Right now he's in the villages serving the people, and the Cuban forces and all of them asked him to go, and he's over there working with Amilcar Cabral soldiers and people, and that's what he's doing. He's in Guinea-Bissau.
Absolutely.
And he's part of Castro's largest army. And Castro says his largest army was the doctors that he made. And he's now part and heading that army.
You know, a lot of times I hear people say, do your research, do your research. We all get
what?
My point is, people say, do your research, do your research. Let me also say, let me say this, because it became clear to me overnight when conversations go south. We can't be so hell-bent on being right that we stop being civil.
And we close our mind. You can't close your mind. You
The
got to keep
revolutionary
your
very
mind
humble
open.
people. They're trying to win people, and the Mao Zedong say you cure the sickness and save the patient, and that's what our job is to do: cure the sickness and save the patient.
I've always appreciated what you have imparted, and I've got to tell you, Mukasa, Robbie, over the past 42 years, never stopped talking about you.
All of them going to talk. What they're doing, they
All of
really
us,
talking
man.
about. They're
We
talking
got
about
hundreds of us, man.
They found the truth. I just took the truth over there and dropped it among them, and they would talk about it forever. Their children are going to talk about it. And matter of fact, they're going to do something about it. And it's good for me to hear them talk about Africa, and I hear him probably talking about stuff I don't be knowing the hell they talking about now.
Look, he put me. Look, Mukasa was the first person. He didn't walk me there. He told me where the Shrine of the Black Madonna bookstore was. From that point on, that's all he needed to do. I found every shrine type bookstore, every city I've ever gone to. Hold on.
And he's still digging, looking for Africa. That's what we're going to all do, be looking for our history, our culture, looking for the revolution, looking for the revolutionary. And also the AAPRP, if you Google that, on there, they got all the different revolutionaries from around the world, and many of them are making talks and speeches and whatever, from Lumumba to all of them, all around the world, women and men. They got Pan-African Women's Organization, and that all the people that can hear should go on the AAPRP and look at that and do that kind of research. And matter of fact, most of you should join the AAPRP.
I joined my freshman year.
I remember.
I think it's beautiful to be connected with Africa. I wouldn't have it any other way. I had my first chance. I first saw Africa. I was in Jordan back in 2002. And I was hitting the corner in Aqaba, and he said, there's Cairo, there's Egypt. And man, I didn't know how close together those lands are. And that's why the news, being a news person, the news I got over there was more pure, less room for lies. Over here in North America, we don't realize the television, the internet, the radio, we all getting the same general source.
They're just giving you colonial information, colonial thought, controlling your mind, and it's not no news. All that stuff is just fixed and make you not know and think and what they think for you. You ain't getting the news. They don't tell you about what's going on in the Congo and all these other places.
Yeah. So, Mukasa, if anybody wants to get in touch with you to take you up on that doctorate degree, what they got to do? Email you?
It's not me to do it. If you go to a website called IFCO, it's a group called IFCO, IFCO news.org. IFCO, IFCO news, NEWS.org. And you put that in there, it'll come up, and you strove until you see scholarship program. And all the information, telephone numbers, and everything you need to do is right there. And I hope that 100 people are listening, and we can say that 100 people from this program headed to Cuba for medical school.
Wow. Why do you care, Mukasa? Why do you do this? You've been doing this since Dr. King was alive. And we got to put up the famous picture. Let's put up the picture, because I am so on. Man, when you came to Baltimore, you may not remember, a couple of years ago, you came to Baltimore, somebody drafted you, and you showed up, man. You showed up in Baltimore. I was so, and then you met one of my mentors here who first took me on the radio, Charlie Duggar. You met Charlie Duggar. And for those that don't know, that's the famous picture. That's Willie Ricks. So last night, one of the things they said that they got receipts. Here's a receipt for you.
They said what now?
They use the term receipts, like what evidence that you have of this? What evidence do you have of that? Here's a receipt.
Yeah, I ate lunch with Dr. King the day they killed him. On this march, we walked 250 miles. They bombed us. I saw Dr. King bombed, knocked out and knocked down, crawling on the ground, and tears running out of his eyes and all that. But on this march, we walked 250 miles, and that's where we started the Black Power movement. And a few months earlier, we had started the Black Panther Party in Lowndes County, Alabama, and we had picked up guns. And on this march, we had already had the attitude of weapons and being able to defend ourselves and going on the offense as African people and fighting against America and fighting against this system. And we did that. And Black Power that was born on this march led us to, matter of fact, it led to people to start burning down the cities and crying Black Power. We've had to fight against the American Army, the National Guards, and all that. Many dead bodies laid in the streets here. It led us to oppose the war in Vietnam. It was an imperialist war. We said things like, why should black people go 10,000 miles and fight yellow people for white people? Or why should we fight an imperialist war? And we exposed them that they were taking us out to cotton fields and putting us on the front line out to cities and putting us on the front line to die for a war that we didn't belong in, a war that was illegal. And we fought against that war. And we fought against being in that war. And also Ho Chi Minh told us that we're gonna send forces to fight in Vietnam against the imperialists. He said, no, your fight is not here. Ho Chi Minh had been a student of Marcus Garvey back in the day, and he studied Marcus Garvey, and he took Marcus Garveyism and applied it in Southeast Asia and Vietnam and fought a revolution. And he told us that your fight, and Marcus Garvey taught him that we come from Africa, and your fight is in Africa. And we looked to Africa, and we joined with Kwame Nkrumah and Sekou Touré, and joined in with the liberation movements in Africa, and helped them fight. At that time, they were fighting, shooting down airplanes and fighting a war, just like they're doing in Palestine today. And we joined in with Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and other countries inside of Southern Africa. We joined in with Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Venezuela, and other countries that was fighting against imperialism. Of course, we joined in with the Palestinians, and that's just to name a few, with Egypt, Abdul Nasser, and all of them. And they all endorsed Black Power. And Black Power and all of them was clearly fighting against imperialism. So we became an anti-imperialist force. And then Malcolm made it clear that all revolutions are fought over land. And he said that Chinese land is China, the Vietnamese land is Vietnam, and the native people of this land, you call them Indians or whatever, but this is their land. We have to help them liberate it. And we don't want to be like the imperialists, claim everything, and our land is Africa. And then they began to talk about African culture and tell us that Africa was not just a jungle, but we had gave the world mathematics, science, chemistry, engineering, biochemistry, nuclear physics, law, philosophy, music, medicine, art, astronomy, had our own gods, had our own languages, and so many beautiful languages and all that kind of thing. And so Africa began to be something to make us proud. And at that point, many people didn't have African words in school, didn't know we were Africans. And matter of fact, before then, we had to go around and teach people they were black. That black wasn't a bad word. We were killing each other. If you call somebody black, you could die. And we had to go, when we said Black Power, we had to go and talk about black is beautiful and all that, and our hair and all that. And then we educated and got even more educated and said we're Africans. We come from Africa. And we talked about Africa and the great African civilization and African history and whatever. Eventually, we forced them to have African and forced it in these schools, and forced the students to get organized on the white campuses. They organized black student unions and all that. And our people went up in arms fighting for a unity. And then at one point, when they had the bus boycott in Montgomery, around the same time, Kwame Nkrumah liberated Ghana. And he called all that leaders to come to Ghana, including Martin Luther King. And they went there to the African People's Conference. I think that's what it was called, but it was the independence of Ghana. And when they went to Independence Day of Ghana, where they ran the British out and raised the African flag, Kwame Nkrumah said the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it's linked to the independence of all of Africa. Every acre of Africa must be liberated, and we must drive them off our land, drive the imperialists off our land. And when we did that, he warned us. He said that today the imperialists haven't left our land. They just changed some colors, and they're setting up neo-colonialism, and they will have black faces running the government, but the economics of the country, the natural resources of the country will still be in the hands of white people, hands of Europe, France, Britain, Germany, and other forces. And he taught us to fight against neo-colonialism. And today you have black faces being the president of Africa, but their country's still in slavery. People are still hungry and never had a clean drop of water, never seen toilets and whatever. And this is what they have done to us. They have raped the richest land in the world and made the people of that land the poorest people in the world. And we're the children of Africa. And wherever they have dropped us and carried us in the world, a strong Africa, united Africa, could put gold and diamonds and jobs and factories in our hands wherever we are in the world.
All right, Mukasa, let me get a question in. Who is in this picture right here? And Robbie, I'll be right back.
Mukasa, Kwame Ture, who was chairman of SNCC at that time.
Right there, yep.
Dr. King. And this young man went to the AU Center, and he became Martin Luther King's assistant and traveled, his name Bernard Lee, and he traveled everywhere Dr. King traveled. And this girl right here with this scarf on her head, her name is June Johnson, and she was the assistant and worked very closely when she was a young girl, a teenager, and she was beaten when Fannie Lou Hamer was put in jail and beaten. And she was part of the movement with Fannie Lou Hamer down in the Delta, Mississippi.
Wow, I didn't know that one.
And this is the cop, James Meredith. He started this march. He was going to walk after they passed the Voters' Rights Bill. He was going to walk from Memphis, Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi, telling black people they have bombed you, killed you, lynched you, Cheney, Swanee, Goodman, Mr. Damon, and named a bunch of them. And he said, and they have hung you over from trees over and over again, and used terrorism against you when you tried to vote. And now they passed a bill saying you can vote. And he said, I'm going to walk through Mississippi and tell the people to have no fear. And when he marched through, started marching and stepped out of Memphis right into Mississippi, a white man stepped from behind the bushes and shot him in the back with a shotgun. And Dr. King and all the civil rights leaders met in the Lorraine Motel, the same hotel he was killed in, and said, we're going to carry this march on. And it was a 250-mile march from Memphis to Jackson. And we started out on Highway 4951, and we started out toward the south, and we faced bombs and guns and all kinds of things. But this is on the march.
Wow, that's what that's from. I always wondered about that picture because that's like probably the most famous picture of you.
And also,
you, Stokely, and MLK. Now, Mukasa, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember back in 1982 or 3, I met with you and Stokely and Kwame Ture at African Liberation Day at Malcolm X Park in Washington, D.C.?
I don't remember because it was probably 50, 60,000 people there. And I brought all y'all to come to African Liberation Day.
I came. I sat next to Stokely.
Yeah, no.
Right up there on because I was with Morehouse's student government. I was director of political affairs. I was director of political affairs for the student government under Gregory Groover. You remember Groover?
Oh, Greg Groover, yeah. Matter of fact, he ended up going to Ethiopia on a trip one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, oh my God. Yeah, I haven't seen Groover in a while.
Is he still living?
I don't know, man. I haven't
I
seen him in
like
a long
Seal
time.
Greg Google.
I
I
haven't
taught
seen
him
him in
good.
Homecoming. Now here you go. When I first went to the Shrine of the Black Madonna, this is the first book I bought.
Mm.
This is Abu Simbal to Giza by Yosef Ben Yakanan.
Mm.
Now, Dr. Ben was there. He was there for Tuesday and Thursday. Remember, Tuesday was just freshmen, and Thursday was the whole campus. We saw him Tuesday and Thursday.
Dr.
And
Ben.
after I saw him, I wanted to get the book, and you was coming around and you was telling us about the Shrine of the Black Madonna bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
I got this big ass book, and everybody said, "What you want that big old book?" From this point, that's how I got so into Egypt.
Yeah, I helped bring Dr. Ben
MS.
to Morehouse camp, as a matter of fact. And yeah, Dr. Ben, he shook him up. They said, we ain't gonna let him come back.
Look, he shook us up so bad. I called my father. I said, "Do you know they got an atheist here in the chapel?" He said, "Who is that?" I said, "This man, Dr. Ben." Man, he started cussing me out so crazy. He was like, "That's Dr. Ben. You listen. You shut up. You just listen. Listen to what he has to say. Open your mind and listen." Man, the last time my father ever had to tell me anything about Dr. Ben.
Mm.
A few years later, he was with Dr. Ben on a trip, going to Egypt. He and my
Yeah,
stepmother.
Dr. Ben, yeah, he's a great soldier, and he helped teach a lot. And matter of fact, the AAPRP put Dr. Ben on the road and helped him print his books. And then we would print his books ourselves and pass them out.
I believe it.
Yeah, we passed them out, and yeah, The World in Africa by who is that? I forgot, but World in Africa and many other books. But we had to do everything. I gave Morehouse students probably 100 or 200 or 300 books, just trying to get them to learn something about Africa or even the civil rights movement and stuff like that. Gave them books that was by Sekou Touré and Kwame Nkrumah, all through the AU Center. But I fought and put Africa on the agenda in that center.
Look, I tell you what you put on my head one time. Frantz Fanon.
Oh, Frantz Fanon and
yes,
the Algerian Revolution and all
you
that.
had that. I might have got that book from you. I might have been one of them ones. The Wretched Earth was the book.
The Wretched Earth, yeah.
Frantz Fanon.
I gave out so many books, and then when you give mine, I didn't take no name and write them, so I forget, whatever.
So
and then I all kind of films.
Mukasa, here's the question that came up last night, and I still appreciate Callie's participation. Thank you, Callie. The question was posed to me last night, and it had never been posed to me. Quite honestly, I was ambushed. I felt. They said, "Well, what has Africa ever done for you?"
Look in the mirror.
And I said, I never asked Africa for anything. I never asked Africans for anything. I've only extended my hand, my friendship to the people that I've met from the continent. I've gone to the continent. I enjoyed the continent. I want to go back to the continent. I love this continent. I want to go to the South American continent. I want to visit all of the continents. But nobody can separate me. What Bob Marley said, nobody can separate me from God or my people.
Watermelon jam. That's what you got from Africa.
Are you a revolutionary and working for the liberation of the people? That's the only question. That's the only thing we're concerned about, where you're born, all that kind of stuff, what kind of blood you got. That don't even matter. I want to know what kind of mind you got. Are you standing up for Africa? Are you standing up for socialism? Are you standing up for the revolution? Are you fighting against imperialism? That's all that counts.
Yeah. Because the enemy is the same.
Of course, all over the world.
I see some of us, no slight to our people, but we want to go and get a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower. And my only question is, do you know what France is doing to Haiti? Do you know what France
They're
That's
dropping
not
bombs on Haiti right now. United States dropping bombs on Haiti right now as we talk. Drones and using Kenya soldiers to do it, and the people down there fighting them right now as we talk.
So what do you say about those bad actors who look like us, who share our hue, those bad actors in Africa?
They're neo-colonialists, and we're going to wipe them out.
Neo-colonialist agents.
We will wipe them out.
I've been saying
Neo-colonialism is the last stage of
ever since
imperialism.
he ever mentioned that to me. I didn't know what a neo-colonialist was. I went to a dictionary and put it together, and then I came back and got his rendition of what a neo-colonialist was, and I've been using the term every year of my life.
Yeah.
And what does it mean
They
to
set
you,
up
Rob?
neo-colonialists, and that's what they have done throughout the world. And they use your own people and your own armies of your own people to fight against you. And they exploit you and rape the land even more when they build neo-colonialism. That's what they're doing right now. And we have to destroy it. And that and they are a force to contend with. Believe me.
That's it, right
and
there.
Obama set up neo-colonial armies throughout Africa, AFRICON. Him and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton is the son of Cecil Rhodes. He went to school on the Rhodes Scholar. And Cecil Rhodes murdered millions.
Cecil Rhodes, Wiseman and Smuts, all of them South Africans that were Dutch, went down into Africa, stealing diamonds, making black people, making children working in diamond mines.
Still doing it.
The De Beers family.
Right now they got them out there picking coltan or cobalt radiation kind of stuff. And they picking just to get a piece of bread to eat.
In the Congo.
And a nasty drop of water.
Our cell phones won't work without that coltan.
Coltan.
There wouldn't be a cell phone. You said,
no
what did Africa do for me? What did Africa give me? It gave you watermelon. It gave you yams. And it gave you cell phones.
Not only cell phone, cars, everything.
The electric cars, the batteries.
Everything that come out of Africa. You get out of a car, everything come out of Africa. You got any kind of electronic, come out of Africa. Factory, wherever you work, factory, the industry and all that, the material take to run them come from Africa. The whole world.
How do Firestones get rich, Robbie? How do Firestones get rich? The Firestones. We went to school with a Firestone cat.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they're right over there in Liberia, raping Liberia right now. All the aluminum companies, everything. Africa,
but the Firestones was down in the Congo on the rubber trees.
All of them, and then their own Liberia.
What's his name? Who cut the Leopold? The
King Leopold in the Congo,
cutting their whole family, cut their hands off if they didn't work enough. If they didn't produce enough rubber
King
in the
Leopold
field,
in the Congo. Read about that. King Leopold in the Congo. Read about it. And you'll see what but he just won. They have murdered us fast with everything. And now they're using starvation as a weapon, all kinds of things. And they're doing it worldwide. That's what the United States do. Democrat, Republic, all of them is doing it. And until we unite Africa and have our own land, build our own way to feed and clothe and factories and industries and use those resources to build the things that it takes for us to solve our socioeconomic and political problems, they will forever be here. They're moving back toward slavery, moving back toward different forms of colonialism and slavery, and that's what they want. And Malcolm X say the one thing that America don't want is us. They getting like when they got us when we was in the cotton field, they wanted us, they needed us, but when they got tractors, they got rid of us, threw us up in the slum and all these big cities, threw us up in these cities and threw some dope in there and some guns.
What keeps you going, Mukasa? What keeps you going?
You.
We're only trying to pass it on.
That's all. I have to carry on for Martin and Kwame Ture and Rap Brown and all the Panthers and all the liberations.
I got you to myself. What would Dr. King say about us today?
Nothing. He'll be part of the liberation movement. We'll be saying something about him. That's all. The movement's moving on with whoever. And that's what I was going to say, too, is that one of the people that changed Dr. King when we went on that march you just saw a minute ago and took him down through Mississippi. And when we took him down through Mississippi, we was out there in them fields and every night rallying during the day, rallying people and wiring them up. I was in charge of it. I had Dr. King out there, and when we got through, he came back and wrote a book, Where Do We Go From Here? And in that book, he wrote that Mukasa's the firebrand of this movement, and SNCC and whatever. And that I did a lot to educate Dr. King with Black Power, and it changed him. And he kept trying to grapple with it. And then when he grappled with it and come to see that them white folks was tricking him and making a fool out of him, and we were right, SNCC was right, and now he come to try to explain. That's why in his last few speeches he began to condemn America, condemn imperialism, and talk about what they were doing all over the world.
That's
and
you
they
right there.
They couldn't afford to have another Marcus Garvey, another black messiah, and that's why they had to kill Dr. King. Quick.
That's you. This is you in this picture, right? That's you on the far right.
Yeah.
Yep. And Stokely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I met Stokely, I had no idea he had cancer at the time.
No idea what?
That he had cancer at the time.
Oh, yeah. I forgot when he had the cancer, but yeah, he had the cancer.
I remember he passed away not long after that, just a few years after that. And I found out he had cancer, and I said to myself, man, he had cancer when I met him.
Well, all these men better go and get their prostates checked and get some colonoscopies and try to head them cancers off, because they're there.
Yeah.
And we need to go and make many doctors, send all our young people to Cuba and make as many doctors as we can, because we're going to need them.
That's how Bob Marley got out of here.
A bunch of people, matter of fact, all the
piece
food
of cancer on his
poison and all the different lies and sugar, drug, and they drugging us with so many things, and even the air and the water we drink is poison. And so that's why we need to liberate Africa, clean it up, and be able to invite our people back home like Toure is doing in Guinea-Bissau. Matter of fact, I'll be back in Guinea-Bissau in about a month from now, a little over a month from now. And I was proud that they knew me and told me to be an ambassador for them. And now I'm an ambassador for Guinea-Bissau, but I'd let them know that I've been an ambassador for Africa all the time anyway.
Yes. Conakry, Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea-Sequatorial.
Yeah, Guinea-Bissau is where Amaka Cabral lived in the PAIGC, and we got a little brother over there named Imani, and Imani's over there organizing, and he went to school at Southern University, and when he left in the law school in 1988, he left straight for Guinea-Bissau, and he's been one of the greatest organizers over there, and they have won the presidency, but every time they win, they take planes and drop bombs on them and keep the old Uncle Tom neo-colonial president in, but they don't organize and got control of the whole country, and we're fighting to get rid of that president, and that's what my son is. That's what we arranged for my son and them to go there and set up medical projects in Guinea-Bissau, and then after that, we're going to go down in the South Pacific in Bougainville, down there where they had a coconut revolution, and do some medical stuff down there, and in other places. We got a bunch of places we're going.
Okay. So any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, everybody should break up into groups of 10, sit down and listen to Malcolm X and other kind of information. Go on the AAPRP website, and they got many speeches by many brothers and sisters that's revolutionaries and governments, and go on there and look at it together and then discuss it. And the more we do it together and discuss together, the more we have an understanding. It ain't about no individual, it ain't about no I and all that arguing among yourselves. It's just about the information that you have. Interpret what Malcolm was saying, or Garvey was saying, or Kwame Nkrumah was saying, and just get deep into your history and learn it. And that's all we try and do is give out information. And AAPRP, Google Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso. You should Google that. Everybody should, and just keep learning about revolution. And it continues every day. And I'm glad that I'm able to serve my soldiers from Morehouse College, and we fought many battles down there, and it was very good. And I always, Morehouse brothers are, matter of fact, I can always see the faces of all them brothers I used to stand in front of in the cafeteria and talk to. One time, you remember when everybody used to come in Morehouse to eat lunch? Remember the door with the little small door there?
Yeah.
And everybody was standing in that line.
We'd be waiting.
I put that chair right in front of that line.
Yeah.
Stand there, Africa. And sometimes I get a film and bring my little projector up in there and put a film about the movement and different African stuff up there and all that. And then sometimes to go in the take it in the cafeteria and put it on the wall and whatever. And I did the same thing in Spelman. As a matter of fact, I had a better time in Spelman than I had at Morehouse. I
would have too. Yes, Lord. Amen, brother. There you go. There you go, brother. Tell them the truth.
I love them girls in Spelman. Had a great time.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, and there were some beautiful girls, and we put Africa over in there too, and Clark and all of it. I used to run up to Mo Brown. I do the whole A Center, boy, that's some work too. And y'all now the beneficiaries of it. And now we have to carry on because right now we got some difficult days ahead.
Yes.
I mean, difficult. And our children are facing right now, and our little boys and girls are out in the streets begging for us to come and bring the truth. And there are all these people walk around everywhere. They're looking for somebody and people to bring them the truth and try to explain to them what's going on in the world today. Everybody's hungry for it.
We love you,
I don't get no resistance no more. I talk to people, and wherever I talk, everybody's agreeing. And they see that we're in trouble. They see that we're not Americans, we Africans, and they see we got to do something about it. And Marcus Garvey and Malcolm and all of them will explain it better than anybody. So basically, that's all I had to say. And Black Power and Pan-African.
My battery's about to
must
die.
unite. And
we love you, Mukasa.
Love y'all, man. Y'all my souls. All the Morehouse brothers, they can hear my voice. Went to Morehouse. Uhuru Sasa. Hamderi
Nashimaringa. Booba, brother.
Booba, Africans, be strong. Booba. Black Power.
Good evening.
Thank y'all so much. I enjoyed this tonight, and I thank you so much and look forward to doing it again.
Good deal. I share. Thank you.
Matter of fact, when my soldiers come back from Guinea-Bissau, the doctors and stuff, I want them to get on here and talk to y'all about their experience in Guinea-Bissau.
Yes, sir.
And with the PAI, with Cabral boys, PAIGC. And they're over there part of the African Revolution right now as we talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you, big brother.
Thank you, Africa.
Good
Goodbye, Africans.